Hello, everyone. I'm doing an impromptu live because I was reading some comments in my Facebook subscription area, and one of the comments I read was just how once you wake up and you try to tell friends and family and no one understands, it can be a very lonely world. And someone in the comments in my Facebook subscription area, I believe it was Connie, maybe. So Connie, I owe this live to. Just said being in this group helps me feel less alone. And when Tyler goes live, it's a way to feel connected and feel less alone. So I was inspired to, maybe if there are people out there feeling that isolation, feeling that loneliness, that I just felt inspired to try to cure that for a little bit. If I do bring some help just by going live, then man, I'm here to just help. So that's what I'm doing. I got inspired. It's cloudy, dreary, cooler day in Florida, so I just wanted to come on here and maybe help people feel a little bit more connected because, like I said, it can be a lonely world when you are awake and people around you are not. So here I am, just trying to be a light in a dark world sometimes. Thanks, Sunshine. I don't do them enough, but yeah, they help me feel connected. And like I said, I just, if my lives help people just feel a little inspired, a little less lonely, a little more fearless, then I'm going to try to do them more often. So here I am. I have kids, so I never am lonely. They leave me alone when they hear I'm watching you. That's awesome. That's awesome, Alex. That made me laugh. I don't have kids, and I've got these guys though. They're wearing their sweaters on a little bit colder day in Florida. Who's Benjamin Franklin now? So I haven't done a video on that. However, I I don't scroll often, but I just scrolled like a couple weeks, maybe a week ago on Facebook, and the first thing that came up was Billy Bob Thornton being asked about if he could go back in time, what he would do, and he said he'd like to meet Benjamin Franklin. And all I could think of is when Billy Bob Thornton is in the movie Sling Blade, and he's like, and he like does his like lips like this. And if you watch him in Sling Blade and then you go look at Benjamin Franklin's face, there's a chance. There's a chance. I don't know for sure, but that's something I'll definitely explore further for sure. John Malkovich, a fallen angel. Guys, I think every celebrity is a fallen angel. And a lot of athletes, all the presidents, yes, I think John Malkovich is for sure. But yeah, I'm really, I don't know, like every Hollywood star is one. I don't know what percentage I would put on athletes though, because there have to be just athletic humans that make it far in the NFL and NBA and baseball and the MLB. So not all athletes are, but I think your top stars, like Mickey Mantle, like Christian McCaffrey, like Michael Jordan, like Kobe Bryant, probably LeBron James. I think these are all angels, yeah, of the fallen variety. I do, and I've proven it with a lot now. Michael Phelps. I just did Aaron Rodgers yesterday. Mickey Mantle is definitely Christian McCaffrey. Kobe Bryant was definitely Wilt Chamberlain. Is currently Miles Garrett. So yeah, they're. I've seen the Tyler Robinson and Oswald comparison. I've seen other people do it. I haven't ventured into it yet, just because I got sick of doing anything Charlie Kirk related. In September when that stuff was happening, I did like nothing but Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens videos, and I just kind of got sick of that because like that's just all nonsense to me now. So I don't even like. I can't tell you how many people have sent to me who they think Erica Kirk is. Like 20, Erica Kirk is 20 different people, excuse me, based on information I've been sent. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying every day I get sent Erica Kirk is this person. And probably a lot of them are true. She probably is being played by multiple people. I'm not saying that, but I just got sick of it. Charlie Kirk, I'm done with him. I'm done with Erica Kirk. I'm done with JD Vance. I've done enough on all of them. So, and I don't mean any rudeness. I appreciate you asking. Any thoughts on Ryan Reynolds? I'm sure he's a recycled character for sure. I don't know who he was. I don't, but he's definitely been here a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of there's a very few select amount of presidents that I haven't figured out yet. I think because sometimes when they look older, they look very different. Like Franklin Roosevelt. I would have never seen Franklin Roosevelt was Ryan Gosling unless I saw a younger picture of Franklin Roosevelt. And then right away, it's like, bam, you can just see it. I don't know who Claudia is. So I'm a fallen angel. No, I'm just a retired PE teacher, my friend. Tom Hanks was Mr. Rogers. I did a video on that, and I've seen things on how he looks. Part of me thinks the whole Rockefeller thing, I'm like really starting to think that's just like almost nonsense. Like that Rockefeller's like the fall guy to cover for the fallen angels, you know. But back to me being a fallen angel. Every time I come on live, I'm always like, people always ask if I'm a shill and all this. Guys, I was a high school strength and conditioning teacher for 20 years at Grays Lake North High School. You can go search that. There's no fallen angels pretending to be a teacher for 20 years and then pretending to wake up and then starting posting on TikTok. It's like I'm a very organic I posted 800 days in a row. Like, so people the other day were like, you came out of nowhere. No, I've been posting every day for 2.5 years. So no, I'm just a man who cares with a heart that cares, and I'm an all or nothing person. I always have been. When I'm into something, I'm all in, and I am all in on exposing the lies of the world. Yeah, exactly. I'm exposing these people daily. Like these fallen angels don't expose themselves. They have each other's backs, and I'm trying to expose them like hourly, They just don't do that. And like on a lower level, the Masons are all their minions. Like the Masons cover for each other too. I have no secret society affiliation whatsoever. I would swear on Harvey in Gimli that I am just a retired high school PE teacher doing the best I can to help do good in the world. That's all I am. It is crazy to see how many people are still asleep. And it's like, from my perspective, there's a literal spiritual spell on people. And you can't break it. You can't break it. They have to want to break it. I truly think there's like black magic involved, because for me to have done as many videos as I've done, and for so many people so close to me to not see the truth in not just all of it, but any of it, none of it, it's like something's going on there. That's not just like that's black magic. That's not just like people aren't smart enough. People are smart enough. There's a spell on people. I truly think. Sorry, I'm like congested out of nowhere. I don't I don't know where this came from. Yeah. Hey, Leaving Babylon. Nice to see you on here, my friend. Yeah. Right. It's definitely some black magic going on. I agree. Do good in the world with an ice wall hat on? Yeah. I got an ice wall hat on. I made because I made little when I quit teaching and I was trying to actually just like go all in on, I was first just like all in on TikTok. I thought I could make, like I've never ever done, I posted on TikTok for like 8 months before I even knew you could make money. And then my wife was just like, you have enough followers now, you can like click this button and you can be monetized. I was like, well, I'm putting in a lot of time and effort. It'd be nice to make like $100 a month. And, like the first month I made like $1,800. I was like, oh, like maybe if I can do this full time because I'm so passionate about it and not have to worry about like money. But it was a struggle at first, but that's why I made ice wall stuff. I don't even push it anymore though. Like I just wear this hat because I get sick of people asking me where my ice wall hat is from. So I made an ice wall hat that you can see where it's from. But I don't do it for money at all anymore. I just do it so people can have a little conversation starting piece of shirt, sweatshirt, hat if they want. It just went spot on about Mick Jagger and Youngblood. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think obviously Mick Jagger is still alive, but there's a different person playing that Mick Jagger now, for sure. He looks totally different than young Mick Jagger. KJ, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, for people who came on late, we're up to 400 people now. I got inspired. I was in my Facebook subscriber group, and someone was just mentioning how she, since waking up, feels very isolated and alone. And some of the relief she gets from that is when I go live. So it inspired me to come on here and just try to help people feel less lonely. Like I feel it too. Like I don't have a lot of people in my life that I can talk to about anything and everything. Not a lot at all. Most of me feeling connected with this type of stuff is through here. I like to go live on YouTube and in my Facebook subscription group. It's just a great community there. Just awesome people. I recommend anyone, if you are feeling that, like isolated and alone, go join my Facebook subscription. And I'm not pushing it because I want your money. I'm pushing it because it's a community of open-minded people where there aren't trolls in there, saying terrible things. The earth is most definitely flat, 1,000%. Can I guess why most fallen angels are active in the USA? Yeah, because I think like USA is Babylon. I think this is Mystery Babylon. For sure. There's pure, like everyone's like Egypt, it has to be Egypt and, all the stuff over there, but there's pyramids all over the United States. That's why they have half the, forest preserves blocked off. It's why you can't explore all the Grand Canyon. If you guys have never seen it, there's a literal giant pyramid and a sphinx in the Grand Canyon. And it's like very dilapidated, but when you compare it to the Sphinx and the pyramid from Egypt, like side by side pictures, you can see it clear as day. I don't. Some of you might have to. I don't think I've ever posted on it. Maybe I'll post on it sometime. An American Eagle spokeswoman looks like she is being played by the person that starred in the movie Barbed Wire. Pamela Anderson? Wasn't Pamela Anderson in Barbed Wire? American Eagle. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for the super chat, my friend Snells. I'll give that a gander. I can't picture who you're talking about. I know Pamela Anderson. I'm pretty sure she was the Barbed Wire. I was a fan of Pam Anderson. I can admit that when I was younger, like I was like 20 years old when Baywatch, or 17 years old when Baywatch was on. So, and I was a teenage boy. So I was a fan of Pam Anderson. I can admit that. Sweeney and Pamela Anderson. I think Sweeney is Billie Eilish. I've done a video on that. I'm fairly certain that Sydney Sweeney is Billie Eilish. What are the 3 biggest evidences we're in the little season? Well, to me, like the most evident thing to me is that just the time of deception we're in. Like it's literally talked about Satan will be released to deceive the nations. I mean, granted, I've only been around for 45 years, but I don't know if there's been any, for 100 years before now, wasn't as like deceptive it is now. And granted, I do think 100 years before now was still the little season. What else? Man, I think there's there's so much evidence of it. I think, like, biblically speaking, just taking the words of Jesus as literal, some of you, although I do have, it's funny, like, this is something I always used to say, those of you standing here today will not taste death before I return. And I was always like, well, there's no one here 2,000 years old. But I think I'm proving over and over again daily that there are entities here much older than 100, 200, 300 years old. When the statues from thousands of years ago look like Michael Jackson and Elvis, and, so many different statues look like people of today. And then I think just when you look at the evidence of 70 AD too, like the temple being destroyed, and a lot of people don't know there was a temple destroyed in 70 AD. So I just think most people who don't think it's happened haven't put the time and effort and research in. If you put the time and effort and research in with an open mind, instead of the programmed mind that the indoctrinating churches have programmed us all with, just like the schools, I think it makes a lot more sense than not being in that time. Ooh, I missed Big Nuts. Yeah, I'm doing my best to do God's work, my friend. I appreciate the super chat and the kind words for sure. All right, what else here? Cool, you get to listen at work. Awesome. Yeah, this is like such a random time. I've never gone on like in the middle of the afternoon. But like I said earlier, I got inspired. I literally read someone's comment in my Facebook subscriber group. I believe it was Connie, and she just said she feels it. And I'm like, I don't mean to throw Connie under the bus here, but because I think we all can resonate with feeling alone when you're awake. But she just said, when I go live, it helps her not feel alone. So it inspired me to go live. KJ, yeah, I think I will do it. I've done a couple Grand Canyon videos. I did a Grand Canyon video. I truly think the Grand Canyon is the remnants of a dragon wing. Like if you follow the pattern of the Grand Canyon and match it up to like a bat's veins, like I think the Grand Canyon was the veins in the wing of the giant dragon that I discovered in that area. There's like a giant red dragon in that area, and I think the Grand Canyon is remnants of that. Like, to think about veins would be hollow. Like if once the blood is gone, there would be nothing to be petrified there, yet there would still be tissue to be petrified from the wing. So I truly think, and you guys look it up on here, look it up on Facebook. It's a Grand Canyon dragon wing video. You should be able to search it maybe. So yeah, KJ, I'll put that in the old noggin for work to do. Yeah, Finesse, once I just turned my focus and attention on trying to do God's work, yeah, things have gone in a great direction. I just, I feel driven to do God's work. I really do. Leslie, thank you so much. I think I'm saying that right. Leslie. No. Thank you, honestly. So appreciate that awesome super chat. Thank you. Much appreciated. Overly kind of you. Overly. Jesus Saves. Are all the angels fallen? Are there any good angels that might be in Hollywood that we see? I think good angels are a thing. I don't think they're here in the flesh with us. I think, there's a lot of people will say like, oh, Jim Carrey, he's trying to expose different things. No, in my opinion, if you're good, you're not a deceiver. And all these angels in Hollywood and all these different angels in the music industry and everything, like, they're deceivers. They're part of poisoning the air. They're part of poisoning the food. They're part of indoctrinating us and making us think we live on a globe. So no, if you're good, you're honest. To me, I relate honesty with good. And if you're a liar, then I don't look at you as good. Now, there are good angels. I just don't think they're, cast down here, stuck with us like these fallen angels are. Just my opinion, like I can only speak from my thoughts and my opinion. So that's my thought. Michelle, thank you so much. Man, you guys I never come on here for super chats or money. Like money is never my objective, but it doesn't mean it's not overly and greatly appreciated. So thank you guys. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, so here's a great example. So someone said Robin Williams, like, if you just look at Robin Williams from what people think of him, yeah, like he brought laughter and joy. He seemed like a good, kind hearted person, but he also faked his death by suicide, causing trauma to billions of people, like trauma based mind control to billions of people. To me, there's no good in that. That's lies, that's deceit. Robin Williams is 1,000% alive. He was Teddy Roosevelt, and now he's a dude called Uncle Pappy. And I think he's been making content on YouTube and Instagram and all the platforms as Uncle Pappy. But just recently, he started one, he like all of a sudden he had an older face. He looked like an older gentleman. And then just recently he came out and was like snapped his fingers and looked young and said it was a filter the whole time. Well, it was no filter because I have done facial markings like him and Robin Williams, because they're the same fallen angel, have the exact same like discoloration in their chin here. They have the exact same shoulder marks. They have, I don't remember where the other placement was, but yeah, Robin Williams is definitely a fallen angel, not a good one. If you're good, you don't fake hanging yourself for billions of people to mourn you. That's not good, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, there could be angels here for sure. There could be good angels here. I'm just saying they're not the ones we're watching on TV. They're not the ones like Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant and these other ones. These are the fallen for sure. How about a Brian Artist video? Is that the guy that people say look like me or that I look like? I don't know if you guys saw today, but there was another clown named Truth Seeker putting out crap that I was Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber. Like just a day or like that's been a thing people have been trying to say for months about me, but I was the one that proved Timothy McVeigh is Paul Weissopel, an FBI agent. I have a video. I put it out. I re-released it today to just make that guy look like the Masonic nonsense spreader that he is. Because people you can speculate about me all you want, but there's no evidence against me because it doesn't exist. I'm just who I say I am. The videos I do, I provide evidence. I don't just speculate. I say, here's my thoughts on this, and here's the evidence to back it up. I don't just like post pictures of this person and say it's the same. No, I back it up with hours and hours of research. Find Jim Jones, the People Temple leader. Why can't I think who Jim Jones is? Jim Jones. I'll look him up. So what's my opinion of the glowing orbs that fly in the sky? I'll give you some opinions on that. I think that there's a possibility that those are angelic in nature. Now, I've had some experience personally where I tried calling that stuff. When I first woke up, I was trying to call UFOs and orbs to my presence, and I did. Like, I literally did. But at the same time, I was getting some wicked spiritual attacks, like sleep paralysis and different things in my sleep, where to me, they seemed very tied together because it was at the same time I'm calling these orbs of light to me. And I even got some on film. I've posted on it before. I was getting spiritual attacks. So I don't know. I also, part of me thinks that, no, I mean, yeah, I think it's spiritual in nature, and I don't necessarily think it's always good. Rob Lowe. I don't know who Ian Somerhalder is, but I know who Rob Lowe is. So I'll have to. I can't. I've got nothing to say about it because I don't know who the other guy is. But I'll note it back here. Excuse me. Paul McCartney became Sylvester Stallone. Will you look into it? Interesting. I actually keep thinking this one sounds wild, but I keep thinking there's a chance that Paul McCartney is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. There's some like song that they play, like Mr. Nice Guy, when Josh Allen's there. Like they have very similar beards and hair. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on that one at all yet, but I keep having this like nagging thought in the back of my head. um, the Trump Lucifer bending a knee to Netanyahu. I think it's just for show. It's to just kind of like the Epstein files. They're just for show. The Epstein files are to get, for me, it's like a big distraction. It's to people who already defend Trump are going to defend him more, seeing that his name is in the Epstein files, and they're going to say it's a lie. You're making up lies about him because he's doing so much good. And then the people who already hate Trump are going to hate him more, and it's just to pin us against each other more. And I think that is just a way to make it look like it's like a misdirection, so people don't truly know that Trump is the literal devil king of the world. He's trying to be the king of the world. Let's see. So I've talked about this on my lives before, but Gilly, I'll talk to you about my feelings on Jesus. So when I first woke up and came to the truth of the Bible, I wasn't a Bible believer. I was literally born into a Christian Catholic home, but like I was baptized, I was confirmed, I went to church like for weddings and funerals basically, but like any belief in the Bible or God or Jesus fell away very fast for me as I went through public school and was learning about evolution and the globe and all the stuff, all the fake science. And then when I woke up and I realized that giants were real, they're in the Bible, that dragons are real, they're in the Bible, that the firmament was real and biblical cosmology was real and it's all biblical. Well, I immediately grasped on to Jesus and the truth of all of the Bible. And then for a year and a half, I had people telling me that Jesus could mean Hail Zeus, and I ignored it. And I had people saying that Lord meant Baal, and I kind of ignored it because I was a believer in the Bible and Jesus and all that the Bible stood for. But then, let me say this before I get any deeper, I am still a huge believer in the truth of the Bible. But I have also really come to the full understanding that they have layers of deception in all of their deception. There's no just you uncover one layer of the onion, there's the truth. There's always layers to it. And I figured that out pretty early on, but I didn't allow that to make me realize that there were layers of deception with the Bible as well. And, like it wasn't until I started seeing things like the word Alleluia changed to Hallelujah, which can literally, Hallel is another name for Lucifer. And it wasn't until I saw all the Charlie Kirk nonsense and how they were pushing people towards Jesus and Christianity. And it wasn't until I saw all these fake Luciferian Christian Jesus claimers coming that it started to open my mind to, okay, where is the deception in the Bible? And for me, after becoming friends with Chris Beck, who you guys should look up on Instagram, and becoming friends with John Truth, who is Yahuwah Nation, and them just seeing nothing but truth and kindness and love and trying to do the right thing and help people in their hearts. And at the same time, seeing a lot of these content creators who I kind of put my trust in to tell me who I thought were more intelligent than I was in biblical areas. Once one by one, they started proving that they were not trustworthy. And I saw the Charlie Kirk nonsense, and I saw people like Jelly Roll and Mark Wahlberg and the brand character, whatever his name is. I can't think of his name. Not Elton Brand. You probably know who I'm talking about. But all these fake Christians pushing people towards Jesus, it's just started to make me realize there is a whole lot of truth in the Bible, but I don't think Jesus was his name. I don't think God is our Heavenly Father's name, and I don't think Lord is the name. So, yes, while I do think our Father sent a Messiah down here, I don't think his name was Jesus. So I never pray to Jesus anymore. I don't pray to God. I pray to the Most High, Heavenly Father. I do think there was a Messiah, and I don't think his name was Jesus. And there is no deception there. I'm just being open and honest. And we know his name wasn't Jesus because there was no J when he was walking the earth. So yes, some people could say, well, that's just a translation, or it could be a deception to get us to say be worshiping Zeus, who is basically Satan. So I'm just being honest because you asked. Now, all I do is have good and love and care in my heart, and I am a believer in the Bible, in the Most High, and the Messiah. I'm still coming to terms with the names of Yahuwah and Yahusha. So like I don't use those yet because I don't do content on that yet because I'm still wrestling with that a little bit. And I'm just sitting here being open and honest like I always am because that question was asked to me. Yeah, so demons hate the name Jesus. So, and this is part of where I was with the Jesus thing because, like I said 10 minutes ago, I was having spiritual attacks. And in my sleep and suffering sleep paralysis. And in my sleep paralysis, I couldn't talk. I was awake, conscious, my eyes could move, but I couldn't talk. I like in my mind called out the name of Jesus, and I haven't had those since. And I've also seen people say that name will thwart off alien abductions, but alien abductions don't exist. That's not real. But I think, I couldn't say the name of Jesus, but I had the heart of the Messiah that was where I was coming from. Like, Heavenly Father, help me. So I don't know if I didn't say the name of Jesus. So I don't know. I can't go back in time and say if I said Yahuwah or Yahusha, if that same thing would have happened. I don't know. But I do know there's deception in those names. 100%, because God means Gadriel. What do you think the G is in the Freemason symbol? It stands for G, for Gadriel, another name for Lucifer. And Lord means Baal. And all you got to do is say, why are all these literal guys doing devil horns and the 666 symbol? Why are those same people praising Jesus? You can't have it both ways. You can't say they're Luciferian, but also they're praising Jesus. So maybe Jesus isn't the right name. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, guys, I'm a lot of things. I just saw someone said Tyler is not a liar. I'm a lot of things. I'm not right all the time, but there's one thing I am absolutely not, and I am not a liar. I could be wrong, but I'm not a liar. I'm not trying to deceive anyone. 1000%. Yeah, so someone said, do I believe in the cross? I used to wear a cross all the time, guys. But like I said, I am never closed off to learning. And the more I learn, I just try to get closer to truth. I want no deception in my life because I don't want to believe anything untrue, and I don't want to be teaching anything untrue. So I'm always an open book trying to learn. I have no ego. If I'm wrong, I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. I think more people need to be willing to just say, hey, I was wrong. But being wrong is not bad because it just means you're closer to the truth. Yeah, so if someone said Messiah was killed and sacrificed on a modern stake, yeah, and that's I think I've probably come to believe that more than the cross, and that's why I stopped wearing the cross. And that was another thing. For a year and a half, people were calling me a shill because I was wearing a cross. It's like, no matter what, when you're me, you can't win because someone's always going to have a different opinion than you, and that's okay. But I'm not going to. Someone's always you don't believe in Jesus because you don't wear a cross. You believe in Jesus, but you shouldn't wear the cross. You believe in Jesus, but not his name. It's like there's no winning when you're me. So I just do what I feel is right based on where I am with my current research and understanding of the world. And I don't do anything to deceive. But like I said, I'm not always right either. All right. So what else do we got, guys? Again, I came here to fill the void, make people feel not alone. So let's turn the conversation to a little bit more positive direction, please. William, thank you, my friend. I appreciate just the kind words. Thank you so much. And that's, guys, all I'm doing is doing my best to help people. The last thing I have in my heart is deception. I'm just like a big ball of wanting to help. That's all I am. Oh, Bryce Hall. Oh, no, Bryce Hall. I was thinking Bryce Mitchell. I don't know if I know who Bryce Hall is. Bryce Mitchell's a guy that has a lot of people deceived because he is in like Trump's right pocket. He's with all the UFC guys are all full of it. But Bryce Hall is not Bryce Mitchell. I can't think who Bryce Hall is. And Zori, like I believe in Jesus too. I just don't think that's his name. I don't. And we know it's not his name. It couldn't be his name. Jay wasn't invented, and that's fine. You could say that's the translation or transliteration, but if my name's Tyler and 100 years from now there's a new letter that is formed and they translate my name to a new letter, well, my name was always Tyler. So, you know, just think about it that way. His name wasn't Jesus. 100% wasn't Jesus. Doesn't mean just because two people think his name is something different doesn't mean that one's wrong, but one could be wrong. Yeah, guys. So as far as the weather currently, yeah, there's none of it's natural in my opinion. There is some definite manipulation going on with that. Let's see. Is Candace Owens Lisa Left Eye or Oprah? I think both. I think original Candace was Oprah, but now that role is being played by Lisa Left Eye Lopez. I think I like if you watch the videos, I'm pretty sure I proved that. You can see it. She's 100% Lisa Left Eye Lopez now. And I think when she first came on the scene, she was Oprah. Travis Kelce is also Richard Burton. You know what? I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that because I tried looking at all Elizabeth Taylor's people that she was, had relations with, and I came across him, and I couldn't make it fit. The face wouldn't fit. The marks weren't there. I've had a few people try to tell me that. I just don't know if I agree, especially when you look at Travis Kelce, how he looks now, and how he looked as the Pony Express dude. Like, there's no change in his looks, and they obviously can change their looks and shapeshift some, but I'm just not sure I agree with that one. I'm not saying you're wrong. I couldn't get there. Yes, exactly. Like Cat Williams, David Blaine, and Prince. Yeah. So that's the thing is like they never they never deceive with these characters in the same way twice. And there's always multiple people playing multiple roles and they switch in and out. Like one of the first things I ever came across of people playing multiple roles was Brad Pitt and Benicio del Toro. But I don't think Brad Pitt's always Benicio. I think Benicio has been a couple different people. I think Leonardo DiCaprio has played that role because sometimes I'll see Benicio del Toro and I'm like, that's just Brad Pitt, clear as day. But like I watched the movie Sicario the other day, and never once did I watch that movie and think that looked like Brad Pitt. And like for me, my facial recognition just is like I'm a super recognizer. It's like a thing people actually are in life called super recognizers. I've taken a test, and sometimes I see Brad as Benicio, and others I don't. So what I'm saying is there are people that play multiple roles. Yeah, I have seen Darius Wright, and thank you so much for the super chat. I have, and when I first came, so he's a guy, like people say I came on the scene out of nowhere. No, I didn't. I was posting every day for 2.5 years. Now, Darius Wright is a guy that came on the scene out of nowhere. And if you compare him, just pull up Andrew Tate's brother's picture. I can't think of Andrew Tate's brother's name, but is it Byron Tate? Pull up Andrew Tate's brother and compare him to Darius Wright. And I'm 90% sure Darius Wright is Andrew Tate's brother. So that makes me not trust him. Now, I love most of what he says. I do. But I love a lot of what David Weiss says. But David Weiss is a big fat liar. Like he's a big fat Masonic shill gatekeeping liar. But he says a lot of good stuff. I'm just saying, keep your head on a swivel with Darius Wright. That's my assessment. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. That's up to you. But go compare him to Andrew Tate's brother and see what you think. Because I haven't done a post on it, but I did my work on it. And if I had to put money on it, I would say that dude is Andrew Tate's brother. Yeah, I'm very sure that Will Smith was Muhammad Ali. Very sure. That one, there have been a few that someone has mentioned to me, and it like smacks me in the face. I'm like, how did I not see that? Like, especially Patrick Swayze and Chris Hemsworth the other day. Like, Point Break was my favorite movie for 20 years. I've watched Point Break 100 times. And until I woke up, I was a huge Avengers and Marvel fan. I had watched Infinity War a whole bunch. Like, that would be the movie I would put on in the background. Or if I was just bored, put on Infinity War. I had seen that line where he calls him Point Break, where he calls Chris Hemsworth Point Break 100 times. And it just took one person to say, Tyler, in Avengers, Tony Stark calls Thor Point Break. Do you think he could be Patrick Swayze? And I was like, yes, duh. and then it just all fit perfectly. It's for sure him. So there have been a few times. What I'm getting at is the Will Smith Muhammad Ali was another one of those where I was like, Will Smith played Muhammad Ali in the movie. And then someone sent me a picture of Muhammad Ali, and I'm like, that's Will Smith. Clear as day to me. And that's one of the biggest deceptions they do is I used to think they only switched roles after they faked their death, but they don't. Like Mick Jagger in Youngblood is a huge example of that. Youngblood is for sure young Mick Jagger, but Mick Jagger is still alive. So that's how it's like, I don't know if they get lookalikes. It's like the whole Paul McCartney thing. Paul McCartney was replaced with a lookalike, so I think they get lookalikes to play the roles. Compare Tristan Tate and Darius Wright wives. Yeah, that great thought, KJ. That's one of those things. Sometimes I forget to do that, and I'm like, are they or are they not? Are they or are they not? And then I'm like, oh, the wives. And then when I look and the wives are dead on, I'm like, yeah, for sure, 100%. There was one I did the other day where I wasn't sure Which one was it? I just did one the other day and I wasn't 100% sure. And then I did the wives and I was like, oh, um, it was Nixon and Jake Gyllenhaal. Because for me, that facial recognition wasn't triggering but there was like the truth in plain sight was there, the symmetry of the faces were there, but like the face side by side, I just wasn't seeing it. So I did the wives, and then the wives were like two of the most exact looking wives I've ever seen. I think the most exact wives I've ever seen are Teddy Roosevelt and Robin Williams' wives, and Jake Gyllenhaal and Nixon's wife. They're just like exact. They didn't even try to change it. You see me going past the wall. I don't see me going past the wall, my friend. Although I keep having this thought that I want to do like this epic bike ride in the summer, like from Florida to my hometown in Illinois, like 1,200 miles and try to just do 100 miles a day. And I was thinking about trying to like raise money for some sort. I wouldn't do a charity because I don't believe in charities. I don't know if it would be like, I'm going to do it for the homeless so I can actually like give the money myself to people because I would never do it for like cancer research or anything because that's all just bull crap. But maybe I should do it to raise money to go to Antarctica or something like that. Except I think it would be too controlled. I don't think I'd be able to get anywhere I'd actually want to get. What's past the wall? The firmament, my friend. We're an enclosed system. Now, what's past the firmament? That's the real question. I used to think it was just the firmament and then the spirit world, but when you discover the size beings I've discovered over the years, like hundreds of miles long, those things couldn't have existed in our little bubble. There has to be more outside of our firmament. And I don't think I believe in like all the different bubbles and things like that. I think things just used to be a lot bigger and maybe there are still a lot of big things out there and God just put a little protective container over us to keep us safe. Now, there's no such thing as aliens in my opinion. I think there's an angelic realm. I believe in angels and there's like literally the angelic realm, but aliens don't exist, especially not from other planets. Anyone pushing grays and ant people and reptilians and stuff like that, those are just fake whistleblower Masonic deceivers trying to turn attention away from the truth of like the biblical world we live in, where angels are real and Lucifer is in the White House and things like that. I'm not so sure we're in little season. I fully believe that, but I can't be sure on that. But if you just go down that rabbit hole for extended periods of time, it becomes pretty obvious that, like Tartaria, everyone knows of Tartaria at that point. I think that was the millennial kingdom. I think the temple being destroyed in 70 AD, there's evidence of that. There's evidence we're in a time of great deception, like the Bible will say, or like the Bible says will happen during the short season. Yeah. Oh, and great. Was it Mimi? Yes, that right there, the Dark Ages. That is one of the biggest proofs to me, and I meant to mention it earlier. I'm so glad I saw that. The Dark Ages, they invert everything, right? The fallen angels, they invert everything. The movies, like the Marvel movies, the bad guy is God. They invert everything. What do they call the Dark Ages? Oh, there was just 900 period time where nothing advanced, everything was stagnant, everyone was poor and sick and weak. Or was that the millennial reign for 1,000 years that already happened? Because they invert everything. So they call it the Dark Ages because their god, Lucifer, was in the bottomless pit. He was in the pit. So it was darkness because the light bearer wasn't on earth. He was in the dark. I think that's, to me, is one of the biggest proofs. And that's clear speculation, but Yes, exactly. The Dark Ages was about 900 years long. Wasn't Jesus supposed to come down and rule on the earth for not thousands of years, 1,000 years? 900 is pretty close to 1,000, my friend. My favorite, most, and thank you. Oh, Holly. That's Holly. Thanks, Holly. Nice to see you on here. Man, I'm still so sorry that happened to you. I still don't know how that happened to you. Holly is an amazing Facebook friend, not even a Facebook friend, just a friend in the Facebook group, guys. And Holly wants to know, Holly, I think, unfortunately, I think it's one that I didn't even do, but David in our Facebook subscription area pointed out the Michael Jordan, Jackie Robinson one, and that one just kind of took me so off guard because I like grew up. I've never idolized people, but if there was someone I was like a fan to and I looked up to, because I was like 15 years old, living 5 miles from where Michael Jordan lived and from where the Bulls practice, and when the Bulls were winning all the championships, like Michael Jordan was my guy. And then to find out not only was he Jackie Robinson, but a full on shapeshifter, that was like a little bit mind blowing. Um, what else have been some of the ones that I think um, I really think the Bryan Cranston, when I was watching Breaking Bad and saw Bryan Cranston say Presidente Grant, and I was like, I just had that like spidey sense go off, and I looked up Ulysses S. Grant, and I was like, holy crap, Ulysses S. Grant is Walter White. That was a pretty shocking moment. Trying to think of what are the other ones that are just kind of, oh, I think Nicolas Cage being Andy Kaufman, because I was always a fan of Andy Kaufman. I loved the Jim Carrey movie of being Andy Kaufman, Man on the Moon. And I had seen Nicolas Cage so many times and I had seen Andy Kaufman so many times, but I had never seen them after I had woken up. And then I just saw Andy Kaufman one day and I was like, that's freaking Nicolas Cage. And it's just like sometimes those are just like so mind blowing. So those are a few of them. The Prince one was pretty fun because someone literally just asked me, like, have you ever looked to find Prince? And I was like, no. I was like, all right, I'll look. I was like literally sitting on my couch like I am now. And I was like, I'm not overly familiar with Prince. So I just looked up a YouTube video of him. And as I did, I have a fireplace that turns colors. I've told this story before, but as I was looking up the video of Prince, my fireplace just like started to glow purple. And the second I saw Prince talking, I was like, that's freaking David Blaine, because I'm very familiar with David Blaine, but I wasn't overly familiar with Prince. So that was one I was just like, someone asked me to find him, and within 5 seconds, I figured out who he was. It was kind of just a fun little exercise. Jesus Saves. What was Epstein when he transitioned from being Andrew Jackson, or was he someone else between that? Do they die and then manifest? No, so I don't think they die. I think they can shapeshift and get older and younger. They're stuck in the flesh. I think that's part of their punishment of being down here is their angelic bodies were taken away and they're stuck in the flesh and they don't die. I don't think it's for a while I was thinking maybe reincarnation, or like they could soul transfer, but like no, they're just stuck in these flesh suits, but they have shape shifting abilities somehow. And I can't fully prove that, but those are my thoughts. And thank you for the kind donation, my friend. Um, yeah, I think they're just stuck in the flesh. And it's funny, like they're always making songs and making comments about wanting their wings back. Like there's so many songs from, like Chris Cornell and Soundgarden and Linkin Park, Linkin Park, Chester Bennington is now Tom Holland. These guys sing about wanting to get back up there and wanting their wings back. And the Foo Fighters are like, have a song like Learning to Fly Without Wings. And I think they want to be back there. And I think that's why they're so angry at God, is because they're stuck here. I think that's why they're so angry and deceptive of us, because I truly think that we come down here, our souls come down here, and then when we die, we go back up. And I think they're just stuck here. Maybe stuck here till the end of the short season. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, and so William, I've gone back. I used to think, and I still do. I think they have really incredible like hologram tech, and I used to think maybe they could like literally use frequencies to change how they appear to us. But I truly think it is like an ability they have now, like a shape shifting ability. I don't think it's tech anymore. Now they deceive us with tech all the time. I think that's what like the JFK shooting was. I think that was all holographic, just like the Charlie Kirk stuff. They have that tech. I just don't think they use it all the time. You know, like Michael Jordan isn't walking around all the time with technology going. Like he's just a shapeshifter. Let's hide this user. Bye bye, Zach. No, no sheeple bots allowed in here. No Jibby. Is that no Jibby? Thank you, my friend. I much love right back to you. Yeah, I've done some moon reflection looking into. I have for sure. Daniel, thank you, my friend. You rock as well. I, guys, I always appreciate the appreciation so much because I deal with so many bots and so many Masons, and it's part of the reason I go live because I just like this YouTube. Anytime I come on here, it's just filled with kind, supportive, loving people who understand that I think most people who are like good, kind, honest people have discernment and can tell that I'm just a sincere person trying to help. I have no agenda, no deception in my heart. But I get a lot of that. I do, but I don't on my lives. So that's why I enjoy the live so much. Funny that you said you used to play Foo Fighters in class. Yeah. Yeah. Um, are you a student? Mid trip? Or did I just say that? Are you remembering that I played Foo Fighters in class? That's awesome if there's a student on here. But yeah, I definitely would play. I don't know if I said that or if you're just remembering my class. Either way. No, I never fear. I don't ever fear. I used to. I have no fear anymore. I used to fear. I've told this. This is kind of a funny story. I used to fear, and I get. Well, I'll skip the story. It's too long. You guys have too many questions to get into a long story. Well, I look into Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw. Kenny said he uses plasma and witchcraft to stay young and hot. Well, yeah, I don't think he needs to do either of those because he's probably just a fallen one too. Guys, if they're big time on the main stage, they're not organic. They're part of the Fallen Angel Club. They really are. Thank you, Mama Ren. I appreciate it, but I'll look into those. I like all the when I was first kind of exposing people, I thought the country scene was safe. I was like, oh, the country. Like I stopped listening to like AC/DC and Metallica and like the rock music, and I was like, I'm just gonna stick with country. And then I think, I did the Morgan Wallen video. He used to be freaking Dale Earnhardt, and I used to love Luke Combs. He's freaking John Candy. That one's still crazy for me to see, but I know it's true. Yeah, my friend, 10 girl. I don't let the naysayers get me down, but I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate everyone that has my back. Past week or so, I've been definitely getting attacked more than normal, but my Facebook subscriber group is just so amazing and so kind and supportive and always have my back. And anytime I come on here, you guys are awesome too. So it means a lot. But I don't let these people get me down. Who do I think Neil Diamond was before? I don't know because I can't picture Neil Diamond's face right now. I'll put it in the old noggin to just have a look and see if anything is triggered. Sometimes I just like see it right away, you know. John Lennon. So I think John Lennon was two people, and I think I think probably all the Beatles had multiple people. You know, like everyone thinks it was just Paul McCartney that was switched out, but I think like John Lennon was a couple different people. Probably they all were, but I think I think one John Lennon became Steve Jobs, and then the other John Lennon became Ashton Kutcher, who played Steve Jobs. So, you know, and the same thing goes with Jim Morrison. I think there were two Jim Morrisons from the Doors. I think one became Rush Limbaugh and another one became Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer, who is now Pete Holmes. Hey guys, I appreciate people just asking me, but like I don't just know people off like Fred Durst. I know who that is, but I can't just tell you who he is. Like I gotta like stare at pictures and watch videos just to have like I have photographic memory, but I need something to trigger it. I can't just be like, oh, this person is that person. You know, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I wish I was that good. Unfollowed truth seeker. Thank you, my friend. That I feel the love and support from that comment. Is there a way to subscribe to me on Facebook? Yeah, just find me on Facebook. So the one thing I will say about Facebook is I think there are like maybe four different imposters of me on Facebook. I have I'm at 1.2 or 1.3 million followers on Facebook. So just make sure you get the right Fittest Flat Earther because I think there are a couple with like one has like 100,000 followers. So just make sure you subscribe to the right me. But yeah, I always recommend people subscribe there because there's, you know, like a big part of subscribing to me is the extra content. Like I just put in more time and information and detailed information on the content and sometimes release stuff that I know will be censored on the main platform. But on the Facebook subscriber area, there's just an amazing community of people. And that's like I always tell people when they're like, hey, I'm new here. I'm like, awesome, you subscribed for me, but you're going to stay because of how awesome everyone else is here. You can't see my content on Facebook. No subscribe button. Huh. So I've had a few issues with that. They tell me that's something on your end because I was having a lot of people say they couldn't subscribe. Yes, I'm subscribed on Facebook now. Awesome, Wheezy. But yeah, so if you're having trouble subscribing on Facebook, I don't think it's a me thing. I think it's a you thing. Like your app is out of date, your payment's out of date, something of that nature. They also just said subscription isn't available for all people in all locations. So if you can't on Facebook, you could try on Instagram because there is a community there too. But there's not. So Instagram has a group chat but they don't have a group posting area. Facebook has a group posting area that is just always kind of jiving. Everyone's just always in there sharing things, having good conversations. So I always recommend Facebook, but a second better option would be Instagram. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really offer much other than the extra content. Saved by grace. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. You guys are too kind in here. Truth hurts. I'm glad you made it, my friend. Yeah, I don't go live often. I say it every time. I wish I did more because I always enjoy it. And I'll just say this again because, you know, I haven't said it. I've said it twice, but I just want to keep emphasizing it. So the reason I came live today is because I was reading comments from subscribers in my Facebook group, and Someone just was saying they haven't been awake long, but they're feeling extremely lonely. And one of the ways they feel less lonely and connected is when I go live and when they're in the subscriber group. So I just, it just inspired me to come on here and try to help, even if it's 5 people, you feel more connected, less alone in the world, because it is a lonely place when you wake up, especially when you try to tell people in your life and your loved ones and your friends, and they're all just too distracted or too under a spell or whatever it is, can't prioritize taking 5 minutes to research something. So I'm just here trying to do my part in this world to help people see and also help people feel less alone. Cheryl, thank you. I don't, my whole life, I've always felt like I was supposed to be doing something important that I wasn't doing. I don't feel that way anymore because I feel like, Gimli, Gim. I feel like I'm doing exactly what I am meant to be doing. Sorry, guys, my dog is not happy. Hey, come here, Gimli. One's chilling. One's not so chill. Gimli is my little monster. Bree, you're welcome, and I'm sorry. Because that's how it goes when you're awake. It's like, oh man, I wouldn't go back, but sometimes I don't ever wish I could, but I know some people, ignorance is bliss sometimes. Hey, Fartree, thank you, my friend. Always love seeing you on here. Zori G. Yeah, guys. So one of my Facebook subscribers said, I'm a Facebook subscriber. It's worth it. Yeah, and like I keep saying, it's not about me on Facebook. It's about the community there. So if you're someone just searching for a little connectivity, a little less loneliness, that's the place to do it. CGI dogs. What are we talking? Dogs and stars? Are we talking? I was like, when I first woke up, I was seeing they were putting dogs in everything. I haven't done videos like that in a long time, but like I was seeing all the NASA fakery. They were putting little dog images in all their lies and fakery. Like, prime example of this, if you ever look up their bullcrap CGI Pluto planet, the Pluto planet, there's Pluto dog's face in the Pluto planet. And they do that all the time. And I used to find it in the fake CGI like smoke of NASA rockets. I haven't done those videos in a long time, but I'm not even sure if that's what you're talking about. But I just happened to see that. I have to laugh that you are the Boston guy. You don't even look like him. I don't know who the Boston guy is. Oh, you mean the Oklahoma guy? Is that who you mean, Wheezy? The Oklahoma bomber guy? Yeah, the eyes of the fallen angels. That's how I see it a lot too, as well. It's like, I definitely use that as well. Saved by Grace, thank you. Awesome. Appreciate you so much. The earth is a triangle. I don't know if I agree with that one. Nothing would surprise me these days, though. I'm open to anything. What do I think of the moon? So let me first tell you what I think of the sun. Sorry, the lighting's kind of... Can I switch the lighting? It's so crummy out there. So this is for people who haven't seen my videos on this, but we live under a firmament, and there's layers to the firmament. I'm sure of that. The Bible talks about it. Ancient cosmology talks about it, of all different types. But I've seen it with my own eyes. With my very own eyes, I've seen it. During the eclipse, you could see, because the sun the sun we see isn't the source of the sun. It's like, I'll explain it like this, and I've done videos on this. If I have a paperweight, a glass paperweight, and I shine my iPhone light in that paperweight, you will see a ball of light in the glass. And it looks just like the sun we see. But that's not the source. That's just the sun we're seeing. So the sun, the source of the sun is in the firmament. Now, what it is, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think God created it. That's as far as I can go. But knowing that about the sun, that it's not a solid object, you can't send anything to it, anything, when they're saying solar flares are hitting, and like that's all nonsense. What we see in the sun is not, it's like a rainbow. It's like, it's a projection. And I think the moon's the same thing. I think there is a projection probably up there of the moon. And I'm not saying like a projector, but like whatever the moon is, we're not seeing, what we're seeing isn't a solid object. My other thought is that it could be some sort of, people say it's like, it could potentially be a reflection of the earth. And, they can even say they see the craters line up with the continents and things like that. I'm not opposed to that, but part of me wonders more so if it's a reflection of the sun in the firmament. I don't know. But it's not a solid object. You can't get to it. You can't land on it. I think it's probably very similar to the sun, where the source of the moon is coming through the layers of it. And like I said, I've seen that with my own eyes during the eclipse with the sun, not with the moon, but during the April 8th eclipse, I could see the sun when it was being eclipsed, and I could see the layers of the sun coming through the firmament. And I had dozens of people send it to me. It's why they spray the skies a lot, in my opinion, is because sometimes you can see that, and they don't want people to see that, because then you'll be like, what is going on? That doesn't line up with living on a globe spinning 1,000 miles per hour. Fartree, thank you again, my friend. Fartree asked if me and my Facebook community have found all the presidents. No, I wouldn't say all. I think we're probably, how many presidents are there? I know Trump is Trump the 47th, but I don't remember if it's 40 or something. We're short, probably a handful, but we're close. And some of them I'm not 100% sure. Like some you're like 1,000%, like Teddy Roosevelt, 100% Robin Williams, Franklin Roosevelt, 100% Gosling. I would say 100% Glenn Close was George Washington. You can say that, especially because of Glenn Close's husband, David Shaw. But we're definitely 5 to 10 short. But I think we have like 28 or 30 maybe. What's the scale of the flat Earth map? There is a scale, Smarty Pants. Why don't you go look up the 1944 CBS School of Air map, the map that all flight schools used to use until NASA came around, with a scale on it. So take that, put it in your pipe, and smoke it, my friend. Go look it up. CBS School of Air map. He's laughing. He's so funny. But joke's on him, because I just told him where the evidence was. Let's see. Because my shirt was awesome. I don't know what you're talking about there. Yeah, guys, all the old Bibles have description of Earth and how it actually is. Pass the pipe to me next. CBS School of Air map. Go look it up. 1944. I've got it bookmarked on my phone. I use it all the time. Star Wars proves space and aliens. Hey, what's up, Douglas? William, also, if you ever used a compass, the only way it works. Yeah, compass doesn't work on a globe. So someone brought up Star Wars, and I'm going to do a video on it. Excuse me. I'm going to do a video on it pretty soon, but I mentioned it briefly in my Aaron Rodgers video the other day because he had a Star Wars shirt on. And all of a sudden I see Star Wars in a totally new light, because stars are fallen angels. In the movie Star Wars is literally about the fallen angel rebellion against God. It's what it is. like Luke Skywalker, who has a big old lightsaber. He's the light bearer. Luke Skywalker is Lucifer in that movie. And he's fighting God, who is Darth Vader. Darth Vader they always invert everything. Like Thanos is God in the Avengers. Darth Vader is God. Darth Vader is Luke's dad. God created Lucifer. So God is Luke Skywalker's dad, or God is Lucifer's dad. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. Luke Skywalker leads the rebellion. They rebelled against God. I'm going to do a video because it literally just came to me that that's what all made sense as I was doing the Aaron Rodgers video. And he's a fallen angel wearing a Star Wars shirt. Star Wars is the fallen angels fighting against humans. And you know what humans are in Star Wars? We're the Star Troopers. We're the brainless, mindless Star Troopers. That's humans. They're sheep. That's why they're white, because we're the sheep that they're just killing, blasting, and doing everything to. And the Death Star, you know what that is? It's the firmament that they're trying to blow up. Literally trying to blow up the Death Star, which is the firmament, so they can have their freedom back into heaven. And probably try to overthrow God. I don't know how that works, but it sure seems like they want to. All right, this guy needs to go. See ya, Char Jar. You're no trolls welcome in my lovely live trying to help people connect, and you're just here trolling. Bye-bye. Jesus Saves, thank you for the super chat. So I don't want to be rude about this, but he asked me about the Mandela effect, and I have two pet peeves in the awake truther world. One is the Mandela effect, which I don't believe in, and two is clones, which I don't believe in. So until I have evidence in front of my face that the Mandela effect is real, and it's not something that has been manipulated on the internet, because they control the internet. They do whatever they want to the internet. They can create AI videos to make it look like things existed 20 years ago and change it and remove it. Until I have something in front of my face that I remember differently and is now, like if I go to my mom's basement and I get like a He-Man toy, and all of a sudden He-Man is like She-Man, and I'm like, what? I remember him as He-Man. That would be proof to me. But seeing stuff online isn't proof to me. Seeing things different in the Bibles isn't proof to me, because they control the printing presses too. They just hit print different, so the things are different in the Bible. So I don't believe in the Mandela effect. I think that's mind manipulation by them on us. And I don't believe in clones, but we don't need to go there because I've done videos and tirades on how clones aren't real. They use clones to, and I'll make it quick. They use clones and they push clones through their Masonic truthers and through their movies. So when us awakened souls in the work that I do specifically, exposing the fallen angels, when we see a face from the 1800s like Teddy Roosevelt that looks just like Robin Williams, we don't say that's the same fallen angel entity. We say they're clones. That takes the individuality, that takes the onus, that takes the responsibility off that fallen angel, and it just designates it to some random clone. Clones aren't real. It's why they propagate it in movies. It's why they push it in movies. There's 50 different clone movies. They don't tell us the truth through pushing. They tell us the truth through synchronicities and little jokes here that you have to be paying attention to. The things they want to brainwash us with is what they push, like putting the globe in the beginning of every single movie and hiding it in scenes, and same thing with clones. So I always go on a tirade when people ask me about Mandela or clones, because neither of them are real, from my opinion. It's not just on the internet. I know that is 11:6 never said wolf. It always said lays with the lamb. I understand your opinion, but check out, it has 10 years of research. Well, yeah, but so I understand what you're saying, that the Bible is saying something different. But I want you to get like a 1800s Bible and show me that it says something different, not a new KJV or something like that. I don't, like I said, I could be wrong about I know I'm not wrong about clones. I could be wrong about the Mandela effect, but until I see evidence in front of my face, I'm not going to believe any Mandela effect stuff I see online. I think my dog's got to go out, guys, so I'm going to try to take one more question. Come here, Gimli. Can you get your bone? Come here. I want to do one more question, guys, and then I got to let my dogs out. This is a good one. Truth hurts. One thing I can question is I can't imagine that angels have scars and flaws, vampires. So here's what I think about that. I did a video on, there's an octopus that is a shape-shifting octopus. It can look like a snake. It can change its colors. It can literally like go onto a rock and change and look like the rock. However, if that octopus has a big old scar in it, it can't shape shift a scar away, right? But it can look totally different, it can change its colors, but scars are part of it. Just like a chameleon. A chameleon can change its colors, but if it has a big old scar on it, it can't shape shift the scar away. So I just think that's what's going on with these angels is they have to focus and control, use their thoughts and energy to appear different to us humans. But it's a whole different level to be able to do that, to get rid of like little blemishes and scars. And that's truly what I think it is they have an ability to shapeshift like a chameleon, like a lizard, because reptilians aren't real, guys. Reptilians from other planets aren't real, but there are shape-shifting like seraphim angels here. Seraphim angel is said to be a serpent angel. That's why like people see slits in their eyes, because they're serpent beings, they're serpent angels. I think when they were banished down here, they lost their beauty and they can shapeshift and look different, but I do think they have to keep their scars. And I think part of what we're seeing, especially on like chins, I think maybe they're scars from like angelic battles. So many of them have chin scars. Part of me thinks that they maybe have to really look different, because some people have, like me, have a very unique chin. Some have very unique looking chins, but it's almost like unless you change that, you might be too easily recognizable as the same entity you used to be. You bet. Truth hurts. You bet. All right, guys. Actually, Gimli, calm down. He laid down, so I'll give a couple more minutes here. Sorry for shaking the phone. David Henry resembles Douglas Fairbanks. Unfortunately, I do not know either of those people, but I'll take your word for it. So I've done a lot of videos on Abrina Brome and the gold juice. There's a part of me that thinks that there's potential psyop in that, because it makes it human-like. But I also do think there's blood involved with things, so I don't know. I'm split on that. I've just had thoughts about it recently. Bruce Willis, John McCain. No, actually, you know who I think John McCain is? I think the Fonz played John McCain, Henry Winkler. Look up do a side-by-side of them. Bruce Willis is Bob Odenkirk right now. Better Call Saul. I'm very sure on that one. Chip. I see Chip. Do you know? What about Chip? Who's Chip? You mean like the brain chip? Or like Chip, a person? Yes, Odenkirk for sure. Do I think some might be human and Abrina Brome with others? So, I don't know. I would say 2 months ago, I thought there were fallen angels here. And then I thought you could like literally be a human and like drink fallen angel blood and become like long living too. But the more and more work I do, the more I think it's just a different species here. Like it's just humans and fallen angels. And like part of me thinks like the Tara Manning stuff and drinking gold juice and living forever. Part of me thinks that is the psyop to hide the fallen angels. I'm sure there are fallen angels here. And I don't like I feel like I can prove that. I don't know if I can prove that any humans are living extra long life. I don't know. Josh Stone knows that unicorns protect the righteous. I I told Josh that I wanted to see his unicorn video and he never sent it to me. So I don't know, maybe I don't know if has he done a unicorn video or are you saying he needs to do one because of his comments? I'll have to message him. Michael Phelps' vid was incredible. Thank you. Do you know he messaged me on Instagram? He responded to the video. He said something like, he basically gave me a Will Smith to Chris Rock, like keep my name out of your mouth. It's like looks like I ruffled that angel's feathers. DiCaprio and Hoover. I don't know. I'll look that up as soon as. I don't know if we found Hoover. Oh wait, Hoover. I think Hoover might be. I think Hoover might be Danny McBride. I think we found Hoover. I can't. Ah, there we go. Am I back? Are we good, guys? I got a phone call. I think that's what happened. Am I back? Someone tell me if I'm back. I'm back? Okay. I got a phone call. I think it screwed it up. I was in the middle of saying something. I don't remember what. Let me go back up for a second. I was in the middle of something that I wanted to talk about. I haven't been able to find Steve McNair. I want to though. I've spent some time looking and I haven't figured it out yet. Oh, Bob Marley. That's what I was talking about. Bob Marley became Nelson Mandela. You know who he is now? Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz. I haven't done a video, but it's all, I have like amazing stuff for that lined up to do a video on. But Bob Marley, Nelson Mandela, age reduced back to Lenny Kravitz. The dog doesn't need to pee. He's chilling now. He's chilling. No, I got a phone call. And I ended it and it must have messed the feed up for some reason. Yeah, and Hoover, I just think is Danny McBride. I think Hoover's Danny McBride. If I'm remembering, I can't picture Hoover's face right now, but I think that's who it was. Yeah, kids are falling. Like they can literally age reduce back to kids. Like Michael Jordan was Jackie Robinson, but Michael Jordan like went to high school. I think Michael Jordan was like middle school kid. I don't know how they do it, but they're not. I don't think they're not like leaving. Their soul isn't leaving a body and going into a new one. They can shapeshift, age reduce. I don't know, guys. It's this crazy spiritual world we live in. I don't know the ins and outs of all of it, but I know a lot of it, and it's what 2.5 years of nothing but research will do for you. I have not found Chris Benoit. I want to though. I do. I want to. I found Andre the Giant. Have you seen my Andre the Giant video? Andre the Giant is 1000% this giant Russian boxer. Look up that video. I probably did it maybe 4 months ago now. Britney Spears is Emily Van Camp now. Look that up too. I've done a video on that. Yeah, so I think Darius Wright is for sure. But I was saying earlier, if you haven't seen my Darius, I was saying Darius Wright, I think, is Andrew Tate's brother. So I said, take everything he says with a grain of salt. I love what the guy says. He says a lot of great things, a lot of things I agree with. But at the same time, I said earlier, David Weiss says a lot of great things too, but Alex Jones says a lot of great things too, but those guys are like lying, gatekeeping shills. The celebs really think they can fool us. Well, they fooled me for a long time, my friend. They fooled me, and they're fooling a lot of people still. Because the fallen angels all look up the what's it called? I'm drawing a blank. Uh there's like this, you guys will know what I'm talking about if I just explain it. I just can't think of the name of it. It's like a pact. The secret covenant. The secret covenant. Look up the secret covenant. And when I first saw it and watched it, I thought it was being written by like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and stuff, but it's the fallen angels pact. They all made a pact on Mount Hermon, and they all, like, it's angels versus humans. They don't like us, so they stick together. If you think angels don't exist, my friend, you still live on a globe, most likely. Yeah, George Michael's alive. I just don't know who he is for sure. Yeah, George Michael's alive. Singer Girly, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm doing my best to wake people up, one video at a time, one day at a time. Uh, just trying my hardest. Clooney doesn't hate Trump. It's all a show, guys. It's all a show. It's a show to divide because Clooney, if you're a fan of Clooney and he hates Trump, then if you're a fan of Clooney, you probably hate Trump. It's all just divide and distract so they can deceive us. Clooney doesn't hate Trump. Just, you know what, like, who else claims to hate Trump is Rosie O'Donnell. And go look up Elvis's mother. Rosie O'Donnell played that role. Rosie O'Donnell was Elvis's mother, and Elvis is Trump. They all have each other's backs. They all play their roles for each other. None of them have real parents. They all just play roles to kind of like fit into normal human society so we don't suspect them. It's a plan that I think they came up with this plan during the 1,000-year reign. I think they were all in Earth, like in the pit, and I think they came up with AI down there. I think they came up with this plan to deceive humanity. Yeah, Elvis's mother is Rosie O'Donnell. That's why. And then they pretend to have a feud, Elvis or Trump and Rosie. It's a laugh on us. It's a mock on us because when you see through their nonsense, you just see everything as mockery and intended to create divisiveness amongst us instead of looking at them. Um, Hold on, I want to scroll back up because I saw something. What if the fallen angels act on the instruction of the divine because this realm is to test each? So, Charlie Cooper, I love that thought and have had that many times. My thoughts sometimes go to, so if the Bible talks about a time where Satan is deceiving all of us, God has to be allowing that, right? Like there has to be some allowance for God to say, okay, deceive the nations, deceive the humans. And you're right. Like, I look at that as maybe that's a test. Maybe they're testing us to see, are we going to choose these fallen angels and their deception and their devil worship and all the bad stuff, their sex, drugs, rock and roll, or are we going to choose good and truth and God? And maybe it's just a big test. However, I feel it deep inside my soul that I am supposed to help people see that there's an option. Like, for me, like, I've always tried to do the good thing or the right thing and tried to be an honest person. But once I figured out I was like actually under the firmament and God was real, it's like, well, it makes you even try harder to do what's right and do what's good. And I think people deserve to have a chance to know the full story and then choose. Be given all the evidence and then make your decision. But when you're blinded from the evidence, well, then it makes it hard to make a informed decision. I worked very closely with Merle Haggard for many years. Have you ever looked into him? Mel, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not familiar with him, but I will appreciate the super chat. I just screenshot it, so I will look in and just see if anything tricks the old noggin or triggers the old noggin. Thank you for reaching out, though. All right, guys. Now I'm going to take just one more question. You're welcome, Mel. Let's see. What else? Is that low end? Thank you. Yeah, I enjoy doing the lives. And like I said, and I'll just, you know what? Maybe I'll just end on this. I came on today because I saw some comments of people feeling alone and saying that my lives help people feel less alone. So I came here just out of trying to help people feel connected. And if you guys are feeling that way, that means others are feeling that way. So reach out to people, if they're, like, I don't mean to push my subscriber group. Like, it's not for me I'm not trying to get people to subscribe because I want people's money. I want people to subscribe because there's a community there and people say all the time how much they enjoy it and how connected they feel and how much they feel like they're not alone. So if you are someone feeling that way, consider going over to my Facebook group and just joining that community. It's an awesome community. The people there are amazing. And above all else, have no fear in your lives, okay? Just have no fear. Be fearless spiritual warriors. Do what you think is good and right and always be honest, and good things will happen for you. All right. I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate all the kind words and support, and have an amazing rest of your weekend, guys. Much love, and hopefully I'll be back soon. All right.